Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody, for being here today. Let's talk about players of the week then from Saturday. Offensively, Matt Frazier. Again, another very consistent game by Matt. Very proud of the way he's responded from everything that he's gone through. Warren Long was our big playmaker. Obviously, a couple of big runs, and the big touchdown run was huge for our offense. Defensively, player of the week was Drew Smith. Real physical, had 2 big sacks down the stretch that were key, and the big playmaker was Travion Henry. That interception, and, when you look at kind of the difference in the game, points off of turnovers, right? We held them off the board on 3 turnovers, and we obviously scored a touchdown there after Travion's pick. So difference in the game. From a kick game point, Hunter Nicewander, best game that he's had is our punter. He was our special teams player of the week. Offensive practice player was Graham Bullmore. Defense was Tom Ruby, and special teams was Eric Lutzen. So thankful for the performance of those guys, and, again, the way that our seniors handled senior day and everything that went along with it. Getting ready to play an outstanding football team. Paul's done a terrific job. I know how he feels being at his alma mater, being here the amount of time I have, and he's done just a terrific job. No stranger to what he has done. Obviously, his years as an assistant at Wisconsin as their coordinator, and then the great job that he did at Pittsburgh. Very talented. Statistically is one thing which you watch on says a lot about what they are defensively, but when you watch it on tape, it's even more impressive. Dave Aranda does a terrific job and just absolutely outstanding on defense. Playmakers at all 3 levels, and everyone's on the same page, very fundamentally sound. They play their tails off and outstanding. And then offensively, been really impressed by Joel. I think he's really had a terrific season. He's had to shoulder a lot with the running back situations, guys being out. Guys have stepped up at that positional line being hurt. Guys had to step up there for them. Tight ends being hurt. Guys have stepped up for him there. But Joel's been the one consistent, real impressive aspect of what they're doing offensively. And, we were very fortunate a year ago here. It was a hard-fought game. And like I said, it's going to be another one this Saturday without a doubt. So with that, how about some questions, please?
It's the last few years the home teams won in this matchup. What do you guys have to do to make sure that when you go to Camp Randall, the same issues that kind of came up 2 years ago with the turnovers and falling behind big early in the game, how do you make sure that doesn't happen?
Don't turn it over. I mean, that's the bottom line. Last couple of times we've been up there, we turned it over a bunch. You can't do that and expect to win. And Wisconsin puts a lot of pressure on you from that standpoint, from what they do defensively. Your initial part of the question sounds like a great storyline for the week for you guys to write about, and so I'm sure we've got no chance, but that's the way that we'll be reading all week.
Coach, against Purdue, your defense was put in a couple tough situations. Purdue starting in plus territory, but they got stops. What does that do for your team overall as far as momentum?
Yeah, it was huge. To turn it over 3 times, not give up any points, critically important. And I think I alluded to that after the game. And I think in the last 19 minutes of the game, our defense was only on the field 12 plays. I think there were 4 straight 3-and-outs, and that's pretty dominant. And we needed it, but it was a terrific job by the guys. I mean, there were huge third down stops, set them behind schedule on first down. Just a great finish to the game by our defense.
Fitz, watching the tape, what can Clayton do better that he hasn't been doing as well that you'd like to see in this next game?
Yeah, just consistency. Just take what the defense gives him, and just be consistent in the passing game. Obviously what he's doing with his legs is outstanding and giving us a chance to win football games. But just be consistent across the board. And I fully expect he'll have a great week. Same thing with Zach and Matt, and all 3 guys will be ready to go.
You mentioned the 4 straight 3-and-outs at the end. You make a big stop on third down the week before against Penn State to get the ball back. Against Nebraska, you put together a long drive to hold on to the football. Is that kind of an indication that this team has figured out how to close out games, and maybe there's a change in mindset at the end of games?
Dave, I think we're very similar to what we've been here when we've won in the past, that the guys are comfortable and confident in that situation. Sometimes you panic and you press, and I haven't seen that. We go up a score. We need a big kickoff. Jack actually puts a good strike on the ball. We get a touchback. All those things that you're just going out and doing what we do. It's nothing magical. It's, nothing new schematically. It's just executing cleanly, being comfortable in the situation, and not taking the situation for what it is, but more importantly, executing what we need to do and how we need to do it in that moment. I think shows great confidence and belief in what we're trying to get accomplished. I'd like to be able to do that the rest of the game. That would be great. But that's what we're working on.
Fitz, going back to Clayton for just a second. After the game Saturday, you mentioned just wanting to give him a breather, a different look at the defense. After looking at the film, were you able to see him improve substantially? Or was it just kind of giving him a little break there?
Yeah, I don't know if I was looking for anything substantial. I mean, again, our thought process there, and we've talked about it. You know, it's funny, we do it a lot of other positions, but you guys don't ask me about when we change the D tackles out, you know, or the linebackers out or the DBs. So it's just the nature of the business with the position. And so it's not anything uncommon that you do as a football coach. If you feel like a guy needs a little bit of a break or maybe things aren't clicking the way you want them to, you sit them out for a series, you sit them out for a couple of plays, and you just get them to refocus, and that's what we saw him do.
Coach, with your offensive line now pretty banged up, Adam Cushing, I'm sure, hasn't slept in a couple weeks. How are you starting to coach those guys up? Are you making any changes, anything in game planning or anything, or tell us a little bit about how you're trying to put that whole group back together?
Yeah, Teddy, you know, just really trying to look hard fundamentally at what we're doing. I mean, schematically is overrated. You know, we've got to get fundamentally better up there. Footwork, hand placement, eyes, communication on who we're targeting, you know, playing cohesive as a group of five, no matter who it is that's in the game. And that's a big point of emphasis for us. It doesn't matter who it is. You got to step up. You got to pick up the flag and go out and execute what we're asking you to do fundamentally. You know, I said it to the team at the start of November. You know, teams don't win in November on scheme. Teams win on fundamentals. And, you know, we're going to have a beautiful, balmy 30-couple-degree day on Saturday, going down into the 20s by the end of the game. And, you know, ball's going to be solid as a rock. It's going to come down, you know, for our specialists, it's going to be a harder ball than they've kicked. You know, how we strike it, what our footwork is, what our mechanics are, throwing the ball, catching the ball, you know, all those things. As you get into late November, you get into the weather, you know, not that it's going to be precipitation, it looks like, but you go back to your fundamentals, and that's no different with our offensive line. If the last name's different on the jersey and the jersey number is different at the right guard or left guard or center or either tackles, you're expected to go out and execute fundamentally and, you know, kind of just getting to that point and trying to be consistent with it.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about the leadership that Stephen Buckley has brought to the team over the past couple of years?
Well, he's just been really consistent with the way he approaches every day. I mean, Buck is a guy that's got great passion. He's a terrific teammate. I think he does a great job listening. He's not afraid to speak up. He's overcome a bunch. I mean, a major injury out at Nebraska a few years ago. And that really derailed, I think, where his career was going to go for our offense. And as we talked to him in the offseason, we said, we're going to probably have to change your role a little bit. You're not going to be able to have the pounding of every day as a wideout, but we really need you to be one of our better special teams players. And he's really embraced that role, and we're very thankful for it. And he's just been absolutely terrific.
What makes Madison such a difficult place to play, and how do you rank it among the other Big Ten venues?
This week, it's the hardest place in the country to play, and it's like going to Lincoln. It's like one of those cathedrals of college football. You get excited about it. I mean, that's why you come play in the Big Ten. You want to play in the big stage. You want to compete against great teams, and that's what we're playing this week. So it'll be a huge challenge. But I think if you focus on everything out of your control, you're going to play terrible. If you focus on what you can control, you typically go out and execute and play well. So it just comes down to focus no matter where you're at. And I expect our guys to put together a great week of preparation and, just try to go out and play our best game of the year.
Fitz, to follow up on Teddy's question, what benefits are you getting now with the O-line from the approach you took during the spring and fall with them playing multiple positions?
Yeah, well, we've got a little bit more depth. I think if it was a year ago or 2 years ago in particular, I think where our depth is at right now, we probably would be in a situation where we have a lot of unknown. And as we've gone into the last few weeks, all the guys that are playing, we've seen play throughout the course of the year. We understand their strengths. We understand the areas where we need to continue to really coach hard to improve. And the guys also, most importantly, have the valuable experience of being out there in the arena. So I definitely think the plan has helped, but it only helps if you continue to find a way to win. And obviously that's the goal this week.
You talked about them being a cohesive unit.
Yeah.
That's not an easy thing to do when you're switching positions and switching people. How are they handling that?
Yeah, they're handling it fine. I mean, I think it has more to do with the communication than anything, and it's going to be challenged big time in Madison this week. They got great fans, so it's going to be a great challenge. But again, you rely upon how you prepare. So we'll try to put them into that this week during practice, and hopefully they'll be prepared.
Coach, Drew Smith had one of his more active games of the year, had a couple sacks, or only 2 sacks. What did you see out of him on Saturday?
Yeah, he's usually been really active. There's just been a handful of times, that he's maybe missed a tackle here or there that would have been a stat play, but he, forced the quarterback to scramble or the back to go deep and wide. And then he's always been a very physical presence for our defense. I probably played one of his better games of the year just by doing really the fundamental things, the things that we ask him to do. I thought he, with us losing Jalen, to have a rookie guy out there with making his first start in Nate, to see the way that Drew and Anthony stepped up from a leadership standpoint, I thought was really important.
Fits on kind of a more lighthearted note. We just passed the 1-year anniversary of the Notre Dame game, which was also the 1-year anniversary of that famous Chick-fil-A video.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard it was your decision to order the Chick-fil-A for after the game. Can you talk a little bit about why you made that decision?
Sure. I like Chick-fil-A. I mean, I was given the options of what we were going to potentially get there, and I think I asked the leadership council guys what they would prefer to have, but it was a no-brainer for me. I'd rather have Chick-fil-A than sometimes the mystery stuff that we get on the road, but I didn't know it would become a viral experience for people. It's not that unique.
Anything else for Coach? All right.
What a great way to finish. Enjoy your lunch. Go Cats.